again.
What? I just asked one.
Um,
I'm like G2. I only go 2 in a row.
We'll do this one. This is like one that people. This is the stuff that the crowd loves to hear.
Oh yeah.
Top 5 list of the best Siege players of all time in no particular order. We can all give it.
But that's like easy. Because you have, if Fabian is the best player in the world, then you would just have Fabian, followed by, Fabian number 2 and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't Fabian, you would go
Fabian
for,
list.
Is it of all time? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of all time. Okay, I would have to put myself on there, I feel like.
It's like let's say you're compiling.
No, you got to. You got it.
It's the Hall of Fame and you're inducting the first 5 players into it. Who are they?
Okay, I would put myself in Troy just because 2 invitationals and all that kind of stuff. And we've been around for fucking ever, grinding through this shit and mud and victories. And I would put Nesk on there for his massive relevance and success and the 1v5. Like, he's such a big inspiration as a player and done so many things from a minor region, so to speak, like non-major region back in the day. And as crazy as it sounds, if Shigo has another season with this kind of performance, I think we can start adding him to that list slowly but surely. If he had Parker,
I think he needs to win. I think he needs to win an international event. I don't think he goes in there without an international event.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that.
The same belief.
Okay, that's a good point. If the man and his team wins an international event, I'll stop.
Preferably a big one, by the way, not just like
obviously a major invite kind of thing.
Yeah, major invite level.
Yeah, that's fair. I also do think that BDS in current stage, and obviously seeing them at invite with that roster and now with Brit and stuff, they were in a good spot right now to take those LAN titles. But fair enough. Who else do I add? You
said Fabian. Are you not putting Fabian in there?
Well, that's the thing. I think I should put Fabian on there, honestly, because the guy is entrepreneured the game sideways and basically built the roster that did what it did. And who's my 5th pick?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, you've got...
Yeah, the 5th one is the hardest, I think.
I think you have to kind of go by who else has won a lot. And the answer is outside of the G2 roster, like, do you put Kanto or Jonas in there? Like from EG, nobody from EG really stuck around long enough, and Troy's the only one who's won something outside of that invitational.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, because it's so hard to judge, because either I gotta go with an Empire player because they had their dominant run, I gotta pick basically a G2 player like Kento or someone like Shate, even though it was shorter lived.
I mean, I think you could go with either. I think you could go with either of them. Kanto and Shate both won invitationals. They both won the season finals on ENCE. You know,
I'll probably go with Kanto, or if Joystick hadn't had, and this is like kind of like not cool to say, but if Joystick hadn't like fallen off for a period of time, I feel like Joystick could be on that list very well as well. But he just lacked the consistency over time to make it, so to speak. Because I think Joystick was really crucial.
If I were to put one from Empire, I'd put Shepard.
Shepard,
I agree with
that guy plays some shitty roles and he does some crazy shit.
That's actually a good point. Oh, you know what? We'll put Shepard as 5th blood. I'll do it.
I would agree with it. I would have put Kanto in there. I would have done Kanto, Canadian, Nesk, Pengu, Fabian.
Oh yeah? Okay.
That's what I would have gone with. Yeah, I mean, I think Kanto's won a lot, and I think Kanto's been more consistent than Shate, I would argue.
Yeah.
I think Kanto's been more consistent, and I think that we have continuously seen fraggers have a season or 2 or 3 lifespans, and then they kind of fall off. They're like the wide receivers of Rainbow Six. They have a couple good seasons, and you don't see them anymore. I think Kanto has been able to be Kanto and Nesk. The 2 things that most impress me about them is that they play aggressive roles, and they have not been figured out. They are still able to utterly dominate a game. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what meta it is. Doesn't matter how good the enemy team is. They can both completely take over a game and single-handedly win it. They've done it on LAN. They've done it against other regions. That's how I see it. And then of course, for the people for the people that are in chat, by the way, I think winning something big is a criteria to go in there. And
no, I think it's a valid point.
People are like, what about Waka? What about like, and it's like, these people have never won anything. Like, I get it. And I appreciate how good they are, but I don't think they're 5 best ever.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I think I'd have a similar list. I'd fight for Bosco in there too.
Oh, I knew
as
you'd
that
say
5th
that.
spot. I'd have to.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
He was on there on
For
my
that 5th
consideration
spot.
list.
Chad is saying King George and fucking never. Like, what is wrong with all of you? Like, are you crazy?
Bro.
Absolutely not.
But that 5th spot I definitely think is highly contested.
Yes. I think it's easier to go I hate the comparison because I hate Mount Rushmore, but to go the Mount Rushmore route where you got the 5 on it, I think, or the 4 on it, I think that's easy. I think it's hard to get to the 5th.
But I think there's time for that kind of stuff to change. So who knows?
The problem was that for the first 4 years of the game's life, there was really only 2 to maybe 3 teams that won things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you weren't on EG or G2/Penta, your window of winning an event was fleeting. And even then they usually weren't consistent rosters. So
yeah.
But that's where I'm at. I think that's a good question to end off on. I hate that fucking question.
I hate it too, but I felt like we should do it.
I know.
I just think it allowed for a lot of skill cap. I think a lot of like recall and stuff like that was different. Movement was different. And I just think that the game allowed for dynamic, fun play styles where teams had personalities. So yeah.
This is one from Limits. Says, and this is one that we've actually touched on before. What are your thoughts on the recycling of weapons? Especially when they are on attackers and defenders with the same weapon. Examples being IQ with the AUG and Wamai with the AUG, or Zero and Bandit with the MP7.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It hasn't. So the thing is, it's pretty much always existed. You know, like double defense. You know, mute smoke, castle pulse, rook dog. But that was never a big issue. But now we're getting a crossover with attack and the defenders. I played Test Zero and Zero came out, and I got very confused many, many times because of the MP7. I think Zero would have been fine with just the specific SC2000K, whatever it's called, and just not have the option of MP7. Is variables and options and decisions between the weapon load, that's great. Absolutely. I think it's great. Well, why does IQ have 3 guns when one of them is significantly the best? And then some operators have reused guns at the same time. That's where I'm kind of like, we could probably do better here. It's not a huge issue yet. But what about 2 or 3 years from now with new operators coming out constantly and they will need weapons and they're going to be reused? It's a nightmare, to be completely honest with you. Not yet. Not as much as it will be. Not a fan.
We actually talked about this before. Troy, I think this was on the one where it was just you and I. When we talked about how the gun decision didn't really make any sense. Like when this game started out, Ash got 2 ARs that are both really good, no shotgun. IQ got 3 ARs, 2 of which were largely unusable at the start, no shotgun. Like what? And then like the Thatcher is the only operator in the game who gets the AR, but Sledge doesn't. Like, why doesn't Sledge get the AR-33, but they both get the L85? Like, and then Sledge started with the shotgun and the L85, but Thatcher was just the L85 and the AR-33, and then got this shotgun later. Like these decisions don't really make any sense at all. And now it's like I feel like you can't really get rid of them. Like if I'm IQ,
it's hard now.
If I'm IQ, take the AUG away. She has no use for it. Keep her with the G8 and keep her with the Commando. Take the AUG away. Like she doesn't need it, you know? Like it's just like, honestly, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. And I get that it's a different concept now, but what I will say is this: I am fine with them reusing guns. It does kind of suck because I think for new players and as a caster, it's really helpful when you can't see everything to hear a unique gun sound and know which operator it is right away. I hear the MPX. Oh, there's a Valk on the board. I now need to keep my eyes open for Valk cams. Or now I hear an MPX, maybe it's Warden. And recently it's actually been a lot of Warden because of the fact that he has a shield and a 1.5 on the MPX. So now it's like I'm hearing an MPX sound and instinctively I'm scanning for Valk cams and it's a complete and utter waste because it's a Warden. And now it's even worse because I'll have an IQ on my team and I'll hear an AUG go off and be like, Does the IQ have it, or is that a Wamai?
Yeah.
So that I don't like. I don't mind them reusing weapons. I don't like that they give attacker, defender weapons, vice versa. I don't think that should happen.
Sounds too important.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I agree with that.